Hey everybody, this is Evil Ed from Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. Season 3, episode
9, Ed.
You're right, Joe, you're right. You got it right.
I did.
Hey, maybe we got to send you a hat or a t-shirt. Anyways, whatever. We're going to do a podcast here. I had some people that I wanted to invite to do the podcast, but they couldn't make it. So we had to change our plans at the last minute. But I think you'll enjoy the show. I'd like to thank the sponsors first, get that out of the way. Pioneer Car Stereo. I had Pioneer speakers ever since I was a kid, and they work great. And there's nothing else I would buy, just Pioneer. And then we have CRC.
Knocker loose, Ed.
I like their knocker loose. And their brake clean works good. And their power lube works good. And just everything worked good from CRC.
I had 2 boxes that's gone. No one asked for our t-shirts anymore. They all asked for the CRC.
Well, yeah.
So they're coming back too at the big event.
Cool.
You have to get some more CRC.
Then we have Go Karts USA.
Yes.
And
I got you a t-shirt, incidentally.
You did?
Yep, large.
All right. Then we have Small Engine Cams, Tim Iskey.
Yep.
And GoPowersports.com. There it is up there, yeah.
They are.
Powersports.
We may have buried them a little bit. We have to help those guys out. GoPowersports.com.
Yep. And then we have Studs Power Sports.
Yes. We not only have the banner, but we have Eric.
And they're in Michigan.
Yep. Ed.
And yeah, Eric.
Yep.
Eric Shingles. Yep.
He's going to call in a little bit later on.
All right, cool.
Yep.
And we're just going to kick it right now. And let's see. We're going to have call-in guests. And we're going to have...
we move that around a little bit on you, too.
Yeah. We're going to have the best question wins the Tim Iskey Small Engine Cam. Tech question. And what else we got going on, Joe?
Let's do the... we'll do the small cam giveaway based on comments that they send to us.
Mm-hmm.
Could be anything, right? You and I will look at those.
Anything.
Yeah, you and I will look at those at the break, and we'll select that winner. And then we've got our boy Solo coming back from...
Oh, we have Solo tonight also?
Going Solo.
Going Solo.
So he'll do the technical stuff.
Yeah, I think he's giving away a T-shirt tonight, right?
He is. And they can hashtag JMBR on the questions, either just the comments you want to make. Maybe the technical related questions will be also tabbed with JMBR as well. That'll help us all out.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of a change because we originally had promoted, Ed, if you recall, and hi everybody, that we were...
this is Joe from Joe's Minibike Reunion. Sorry about that.
And we had Jim Marino, the owner of...
Doesn't he have a collection of tacos?
He did, a huge one.
Yeah.
He was the guy who we talked about in podcasts in the past, Ed, where I had a chance to go check out his collection, if you recall.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And he finally got to that point, like many people do, where it's time to move along. So he had the taco collection on Craigslist.
Right. Yeah, my boy Justin, he showed it to me last night on Messenger.
check 1, 2? Oh, great.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing.
Thank you, E. So he was going to give us, Jim Marino was going to give us the inside skinny on the bikes. How he got them, how long he's had them, what models they were, what's been done. Because I remember he was it's no different than like if you asked me about any of my bikes. You know everything about him. You got that when you talked to him.
Oh, really?
So
That
I was
kind of guy.
Yeah, and you would have been either assured that when he was asking $3,500 or $4,500 or whatever those bikes were going for, that you had enough information about them to make a good opinion. Because some people would look at some of the pricing and go, "What's he nuts?" But the fact is those were some pretty nice bikes. They were all restored. I don't remember many of them, Ed, being truly original survivors.
Right.
They were even saying rebuilt. It has such an odd connotation. You know, when people say rebuild engine, it's like, oh, shit, what did he do to that car? Right? You know, what did he do to that engine? But Jim's not that guy. He's a classy guy. And the fact is that he called me just prior to the podcast to say that he had one guy who bought all the tacos. He was a guy who was out of state. And one single guy, bought the CT70s. So there was really...
Must be nice.
But we lost the guest out of the deal. But two guys were happy. Now there's...
So that makes room to talk about Bonanzas.
Yeah. And I had... I found out that Justin's Bonanza... Remember he had posted that Bonanza on Craigslist? It was similar to like my Survivors. The orange ones. He had one on there for... I think he was starting for $795. It was like a roller. A basic roller. Like minimal. Maybe just the wheels and the frame. That went to Rafa.
Oh, Rafa bought it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. These guys that can't keep up with
Well,
them.
it makes sense, right? If Rafa, in fact, bought whatever, quote unquote, comes
Rafa
with.
owns the Bonanza name now.
Yeah. So, with that said, I like my bikes to go to people that I like. Just how it should be, right? And him hoarding Bonanzas, considering if he's that deep with the Bonanza licensing name and franchise, good for him. I'll need your help because Justin is on me like stink on shit on this raw tone.
Oh.
The Steen style Frioli.
Yeah.
And I took that engine out. Actually, there's a short block now because it wasn't a complete engine. I took the Clinton that was sitting in that raw tone and I took off the parts that, including the gas tank and a few other parts, and completed this engine. Because they were both 4 horsepowers.
Right.
There's our neighbors. And I'm giving that away to a guy that I met on Facebook or something, who's an old guy retiring looking for some Clinton parts. So I told him I had that short block. I'm going to send it to him. And as I started to take that engine out of the raw tone, that's a cool bike. And so I don't want to, I had it available. He could have had the bike, but he was trying to work me a little bit. And I stood firm only based on the fact that it was a good bike, right? And now I don't know that I want to part with it anymore. So it sits over here. It sits over here. He was on me to buy that bike. If you're listening, Justin, hang in there. Things change, right?
Yeah, I get people wanting to buy my Bonanzas all the time. I go, no, you can't have those 3 the early ones.
Well, you can find them.
Sale.
You bikes like yours, you can't find those early ones, right? And I'm in a similar spot with the raw tone. It's like you can go find a Bonanza chopper, a roller, and maybe you're in it for $600-700. That can happen to anybody any day.
Yeah.
You're not going to run into an early '60s style Bonanzas like the ones that you have, and you're not going to just run into a one-off raw tone Frioli. They're not $400-500-600 rollers. Those bikes have a little bit of a premium. Wouldn't you say?
I know raw tone. I've met him a bunch of times.
You have?
He used to be in our outlaw minibike races.
What's his name? Do you remember in any way? Do you remember a first name, or is he just so deep raw tone that no one even knew? Think about that.
I know his name, but I'm blank. I'm old. Stuff kind of comes and goes.
Sure.
But what the hell was his name?
Like
I can't remember.
It'll come to you, and maybe we'll try to get with him. Ed, when we talked about the flip of the switch, as you recall, right immediately after the last podcast, I went in for surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here it is 2 weeks later, and I'm in a pretty good spot. 1, 2, 3 spots, and I thought I was going to be really in that permanent sling, and it turns out that I'm in better shape. I'm already starting physical therapy, so that was kind of the spirit of flipping the switch here. And although I'm pleasantly surprised at the rehab, I still got about a month to go before I can actually drive. I get the stitches out tomorrow, and I'm enjoying working from home, especially when it's 150 fucking degrees out, right? So that's where you and I decided to switch, thinking that I may be short of a mobile and hoping that you could help move some shit around and set things up. And it turned out that I had a little bit of an easier time. You found that hosting the podcast and getting guests wasn't as easy as a time.
No, it's not easy.
Well, but it was also, it's... I always thought I had an next guy, right?
And then you ask your friends if they want to show up, and it's like, well, Guardrail Dave's in Hawaii till Friday. Edwin had something planned.
Edwin Murto, right?
Yes, Edwin Murto. Mac said it was too freaking hot for him.
You don't blame him, do you?
No.
Like, could you imagine if we actually had somebody here tonight that had to deal with this? It'd be kind of shitty for them. Me, we're all right.
Anyway, I can understand why, if they had something else to do or if they're in Hawaii.
I think it's the heat.
I like to rag on them anyway. Why can't I be in Hawaii?
Well, who knows? Maybe next time Guardrail Dave takes off to the Big Island. Although, do you want to go there? Isn't it on fire?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there's like lava blast going everywhere.
Thing. Yeah, I heard about that. But I don't know which island he went to.
Well, we may see some lava tonight if this heat keeps up. What do you think it is now? Like 102 degrees, 100 degrees? It feels like a balmy 100 degrees,
like
100
right? Still.
So you reached out to quite a few of these guys. You talked to them because you were out at the recent MacFest, right?
Yes, I was.
So talk to us a little bit about the MacFest.
MacFest was great. I was there the day before helping Mac set up, but actually Mac had most of it set up on Friday. So I did a few things, but most of it was already pre-set up.
He's got a system right now, right?
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's not as if it morphs into something different the rest of the 364 days. It's like pretty much, with the exception of rolling some shit out in the lawn, MacFest is on constantly if you go over his place, right?
He's got so much stuff.
So did you buy anything?
Yeah.
What'd you get? A head bucket or a headlight bucket?
A headlight bucket for one of my Bonanzas. I got that off Justin.
Okay.
And I got a BC 1400 seat, original, kind of ripped up off of Justin. And what else did I get?
And are you going to keep it in that tattered look, or are you going to send that off to Karen again?
No, that one's going to stay tattered.
Kind of a tattered guy.
Yeah. I like them rough looking. I had restored bikes before, but...
We're talking about mini bike seats. Was that what you were talking about?
What?
Bad joke.
Oh, no, I've had that too. I've had bad mini bike seats. I've had good mini bike seats.
So who else was there?
Painted, restored bikes. I like the ratty looking ones myself. Like the ones, my early ones. I don't want to restore them. I just want to leave them.
The Bonanza that you rode on the Christmas parade, granted, had a little bit of an issue with it, but that bike...
That was its first time out. It didn't even have a road test.
That bike is the perfect Evolette bike. That is. And what's going on with that one? You had that somewhat close to... I know it was running.
It's running again.
Yeah. And you're ready to go with it?
No, I still need Karen to do the seat.
Okay.
I made a seat.
Oh, you made the frame, right?
Yeah, I made a steam bent fiber, or not fiber, steam bent plywood seat pan, and I just have to send it to Karen and get it upholstered. But there's different things that everyone says about how it was upholstered, and you really don't know, because when you look all this information up on these early bikes, there is no pictures. There is no pictures of a first 50 Bonanza mini bike with the original seat, except for my buddy Jerry's bike, and that was the seat that they sold for $5 extra, which nobody bought.
And you had access to a photo of that Jerry seat?
Yeah, I have access to a photo of that bike, but it doesn't have the original seat that they came with. That seat that's on his bike cost $5 more.
What is it so much about capturing that when most of the rest of the bike is somewhat gnarly? Why is the seat and capturing that OE?
Because I ride them. I'm tired of riding around on plywood. I want something comfortable.
Well, you're in good hands with her. I hate to say it, but each one of the seats that came on my Bonanzas, with the exception of, in fact, there's a new seat. I had that one redone on the chopper, so that one's really good to go. But all my other ones, terrible seats. Like he got them redone, and they look like the original Bonanzas, but you sit in them, they're like,
they go down.
Yeah, they go down. Plus, we're getting fatter.
It's rebound form.
What are you weighing in now?
Me?
Yeah.
About 187.
What's the gallbladder?
187.
How much were you with the gallbladder?
About 190. 3 pounds.
I'm up there. I'm getting like 175, and I know I should be like 165. Been sitting around like a mule with some of this physical therapy, and I've been walking.
I had that same operation about 15 years ago.
Now, when
this shoulder.
What did they do? Did they just take like a spear back then? And
no, they went in like you did with orthoscopic surgery, cleaned out the bone, made some more clearance in there.
How long did it take you to recover? Really?
A couple months.
No, I mean that's where you're feeling good. But how long did it take you to recover? Like, were you able to like lift
about
weights?
6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
They're saying like a year. But I'm anxious to get out because the AV guys are riding again in August.
Yeah, I saw that.
They were out again last week. I think it was not as much of a formal ride, like an announced ride like this one has been announced. This one was just a few guys. I saw a solo out there. Looked like Jake was out there. Maybe a handful of other guys. Small little ride. I was sitting there. That was like the first week of recovery. I was dying. I wanted to get out there. Even when I came out now, just moving around some of the bikes, you forget, especially when you come out and it's like you don't have the sling on anymore. You start wheeling out just the Grom in the van, and I had to watch it because when I go this way, that's when it hurts. I can go this way anytime, but so riding.
Yeah, there's certain ways you move it. And it really hurts.
It'll remind you that you had surgery a couple weeks ago. So we have you had MacFest. You bought a couple things. Who was there? Who was hanging out there? With regular suspects?
Drag racers except Charles Mosley mini drag bike. And some other guy.
What's happening, Charles?
Named Gerard, I think as they called him.
Yeah.
And
J-Rod.
No drag racers basically were out there buying anything.
Who else out there? Anybody? Any of the other usual suspects?
There was Cliff, Minibike Paul.
Oh, good. Minibike Paul went out?
Yeah.
How's he looking? How's he doing?
He's been sick past month and a half.
Well, get better, Paul.
He had I don't know if he wants me to say it or not, but he went to the doctor one day, and sorry, Paul, got to tell it. And the doctor took his blood pressure, and the blood pressure read 180 over 150.
He's the doctor. What's that mean? E?
AFib. AFib.
What should it be? Should be a lot lower than that. AFib?
120 over 70. And they told him, you're going in the emergency room right now.
Oh, no shit.
Yep. He said, what? You're going to emergency right now. You're in AFib.
So is that like heart attack time?
That's so your heart's not working right. Yeah.
So the flow of
so they had to go in through his crotch, he said, up to his heart and find out why the heart wasn't working. So he's been recovering from that.
It's interesting you tell that same story because a good friend of mine who is a really important player with the NHRA and close to, if not maybe even being younger than me, I saw him. He had us as guests at a recent NHRA event, and he looked great like he always did. And when I finally had a chance to see him one-on-one, I asked him how he's doing. He told me that he had come out of lunch and had to stop for a second to collect himself, and he just felt weird. And his coworkers brought him just to get checked out. I don't know if it was AFib, but he had
High blood pressure.
He had a heart-related issue, and they had to take him in immediately, and they had to go in through that same turnpike.
I probably was AFib, yeah.
And he was looking good. He was out. He was fine. He was back to work as if, kind of like a shoulder surgery.
You would think that if your blood pressure was that freaking high, you would feel something that wasn't right.
Well, we're hard-headed men, and I don't know about you, but intermittently you feel like a little flutter of your heart. You'll feel something that is not normal. I don't know what you do, but I don't rush to go get checked out. I hope that shit don't come back.
When I feel that, I try and change the subject, start thinking of something else.
We all do that.
It goes away.
We all do that. Yet, I think you get away with that. You start to get into your 70s, and those things happen. I think you've got to pay a little bit more attention, right? So those of us who are still in the mini bike game and starting to get too fucking old, when your heart starts shaking, maybe it's time to get bacon and get out there and get checked out, right? You're big on that paper.
Fans are blowing my paper all over.
Well, we got 3 fans. One of them is, I feel one of them. Do you? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this is
nice.
Working good.
Well, let's give a shout out to Paul because we love him. In fact, hell,
yeah.
We've all had such, when I write the mini bike book, Paul's got his own chapter. Well, so feel better, Paul, and let us know how you're doing.
Cliff was out there.
Cliff
was out there. Some of the other guys that I know by just seeing them.
Yeah. You're not quite in
they were all out there.
Those where you do the parade wave. Those guys like yeah.
You see them at all the events, and you, hey, what's up?
Was the guy there with that little chrome little Indian kit? He had that small mini little Indian kit, chromed and needed a little welding work. We talked about it before.
No, I don't think he was.
Yeah, he probably sold that for you. And what about our traditional guy that's always there selling stuff? He had a
Justin?
No, the older guy with the mustache.
Yeah, he was there. Paul, I think. Paul from San Diego.
Yeah, is it Paul? Hi, Paul. How you doing, brother?
He was there.
I wanted to get out, but I couldn't.
Justin had a bunch of stuff there.
He had too much shit. I saw, was it a picture that you sent me? Or was it a picture of what? I had a picture of some of the stuff he was bringing. It's like, dude, everybody who comes there, you could have given a frame to. And
he was giving engines away. He brought over 3 truckloads before the yard sale. One of them was like a truckload of engines. We threw them on Mac's yard.
Were they those nondescript Chinese deals, or were they Briggs with Tecumseh?
Briggs's and Tecumseh.
No shit. Yeah. So they were real McCoys?
Yeah.
Did you get
they were all in different variations of
short blocks
being torn apart, half together. There's some full ones. So I had a trail horse bike for sale, and I made a deal with this little kid because he was buying it with his own money, and he kept looking at it.
What were you asking for it?
$300 roller, suspension front and rear. Anyway, the kid. He's always comes up to you at the Minibike Reunion. You talk to him. He looks kind of Asian, but
he was with us on the ride, Ed, and he had that cool little Pinto.
The kid.
The cool brown Pinto he put together.
That's the kid. Okay.
He doesn't get a JMBR discount?
He did.
Good. Did you buy it?
He bought it. I made him a deal.
Shit. Good.
His dad was there. His brother was there. And he brought a friend with him. And
he bought history. He bought an Evil Ed bike?
He doesn't know that.
Good for him.
But I sold it to him for $200.
Oh, Ed, you're going right to heaven.
That was like $100 discount.
Yeah, but
he was happy to get it. I says, dude, all it needs is a motor. I says, this was a running bike.
Why didn't you hook him up with Justin?
Justin was right there.
He should have hooked him up with a 3 horsepower and
we did.
Briggs.
Justin gave him pick of 2 motors.
Love this story.
That's what I was getting to.
Love that.
So Justin was giving away, if you bought a frame, you got a free motor.
Smart.
So I sold the trail horse, and all of a sudden Justin says, hey, you can take 2 motors.
Emmanuel, you're a little late for that date, baby. We have to get Justin Eichler back in the show.
So I don't know if he took the 2 motors, but...
let me stop there for a second. When I was cleaning the house, at one point, Emmanuel and I would walk, we'd bullshit, we'd talk about all kinds of stuff. And I never... to me, it's like, especially with your friends, ultimately, if you got shit they want, at some point you have a sit down and they buy it. We hadn't quite gotten there on a couple of the bikes, but in his mind, he had secured the big wheel Isuzu with that race frame,
Oh, okay.
the white one. So I'm starting looking at bikes. Like, I'm going to put some of these for sale. And I put it out there, missing that connection. So he called me back. It's like, hey, what are you doing with my bike? So we worked something out. But his son, who's huge and getting bigger by the day, this is still his first bike. And that's a built Predator. Mm-hmm. And when I mean built, stage 2.
Okay.
And like, we rode it, and it ran like a raped ape. The brake needed a little bit of an adjustment, and then it sat here. It must have sat here for 2 years. So it's gummed. We fired it up, and the throttle was sticking. It sounded like a lawnmower on crack. So we turned it off, and he's got to rebuild the car, just clean it out a little bit. But I really wondered, his first bike, like, I'm not worried about it. He's going to fire it up, and he's going to ride around and have a good time. But, but his son, for the first time, on a 6, close to 7, 8 horsepower bike, right? The first time ripping that thing. So, you feel a certain responsibility, especially when it goes to a friend. And I don't know. I wonder, maybe we see what Justin's got laying around. If he's got a 3.5 horsepower E, maybe we buy one of those, stick it on there, but swap it out there.
Whatever was left over, the engines, he left at max.
Oh, he left them. Oh, for like Max needs more shit. Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's kind of his way of feeding the machine,
right? A bunch
right?
of tires too, I think. Tires and some rims and.
He's just on fire. It's almost as if we can. It's the Justin show again too, because he has this one guy was asking about choppers. Actually, a unique name, chopper, started with an M, but just a post somebody had on one of the mini bike sites. It may have been Mini Bike Nation, that popular site, or an OMB, and someone had asked about if they could find this chopper, and had a picture, and Justin's like casually immediately replies back, I think I kind of saw something up in Colorado, Craigslist. I'm like a hawk. I go over there, boom, there's the bikes. I'm sitting here, and like, I know Jim Marino. Justin knew they were for sale before I did. So, if you're on it and you're acting, which he is, you're going to come across a lot of stuff. At some point, like I told him, it's like, dude, you're not going to have enough room. How many frames? He must have 50, 100 frames and all these engines. And so at some point, he'll find himself. He's just in the middle of it. He's in love. He's in high school love with.
There for sale.
Well, I think I'm done in terms of stuff I have to have, and I'm hopeful that may have got 1 or 2 more Hondas in me. They have that new one coming out, and Jim may have that 69 that could be worth collecting. It'd be a great investment, but nevertheless, Ed, let's do this. Why don't we get our guy Eric from Stutz on the phone?
Okay.
And talk about the upcoming Candyman event.
Okay.
That's Saturday.
Hope it doesn't rain out.
That was last time.
Yeah, hope it doesn't rain out this time.
Jesus Christ, you just mushed him. We're going to fire him up. Let's see here.
Call his ass up.
Yeah, and I hope things go well.
Wake him up.
He also has a bike. I don't know if you saw it. It's a custom drag bike. He had it on, was it Facebook? May have had it on Facebook yesterday. And it was badass. So not only is he putting the event on, but he's got a chance to.
It's been so hot at my house. My computer doesn't want to work. My phone doesn't want to work.
All right, let's dial him up. Speaker.
It's ringing. Not home.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 7347.
Well, looks like we may have. We'll try Eric back after the break. It went to his voicemail. Eric, if you're listening, or who knows, maybe Eric came up with something prior to his event. We're going to try to get Eric back on the line a little bit later on, Ed.
It's amazing, that girl that tells you that information.
You know
That's
her?
the same one out here. How
she gets around.
She's busy.
She's easy, but she's no tramp.
Pretty busy.
So, you only bought a couple things over at Max. It was.
I'm trying not to buy a lot of stuff because I have to move, and
just the stuff you need, right? Not what you want, just what you need.
Well, my headlight bucket was broken on my 1400, and so I saw that, so I bought that. To replace the broken one.
What's a headlight bucket cost nowadays for an old Bonanza?
I don't want to tell you because
is it under $100?
Yeah.
Okay.
Justin sold it to me for $20.
But obviously they go for a few more dollars than that, right?
Well, yeah, they go for like maybe 80 to 100.
Right.
It was just a bucket, no headlight, no switches, no bezel.
Did Max sell the Temecula? Oh, was Temecula Bob there?
No, Bob didn't
probably the heat. Did Max sell his Temecula Bob small bike?
Finally, after the yard sale, I guess the next day he sold it.
Somebody saw it, came back.
Yeah, someone came back.
Isn't it funny? You go through that, you advertise it, advertise it, and then finally somebody's like, "Oh, cool." I would have gone. There's no way, especially a week ago. And I'm hopeful that, although I know we'll miss him, we got to add another one to the list. Unfortunately, Brian and Frank may not be able to see us at the upcoming Joe's Minibike Reunion because that, in fact, is the day. It's that wedding that they were talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Chris, his brothers, and a few others of the F&B clan will be representing, so to speak, and we'll have some banners out and some product to give away. But that happens,
Yeah.
It happens. So they had the AV ride again, and you've yet to go, right?
No, I want to go.
So we should check that out. If nothing else, because I can't ride, maybe we just we'll ride up. You bring a bike, I'll hang out, you ride around for a little while. I don't mind going up there, BS, and showing you around, and you can check it out if your bike's ready.
Yeah, I got a bunch of bikes that I could take, but I'd probably just take one.
Yeah. What would you bring, Ed?
Either the MX or the
so Justin's got an MX too.
1400 that I have.
Have you seen the MX that he has? Have you heard about it? This is Bonanza?
Yeah, I saw it.
All right, so I'll just leave that at that.
Probably take the MX.
I would love one of those. You don't see those either.
Well, you do, but they want a lot of money for them.
Or they're all re-welded and every other damn thing.
Yep.
The one that I saw that Guardrail Dave had, he sold that to Minibike Paul, I think.
Yeah.
That last one?
Yep.
I sure wouldn't mind haunting Minibike Paul for that one. You know? I wonder what he's doing with his fleet. He's been on the road too, right? Before the last time I had seen him, which was at Max, he was kind of on the road.
He goes to what is that, Fraser Park on the weekends?
Yeah.
He bought some property up there, and he's got a camper, and he parked it up there.
Good getaway, right?
Yeah, he spends his time up there on the weekends, him and his wife.
Yeah, nice.
And
what time did you get out of there, Ed?
I stayed late. I got home.
Late for you is like 3 o'clock over there, right?
Yeah, it was about 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
And I got home about 4:30.
Well, we had a little bit of a delayed response. As you knew, we had a little bit of we had the heat issue started a couple weeks ago, right? When we were doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And it was interrupting back and forth, but we finally were able to get that out. And that was a good show. I like having Ian around. Ian's cool. It was good to see that. And it's a shame because of all the people that, you would have as a guest. It's unfortunate to happen to anybody, but, the interruption with the live broadcast and having him at the same time, I just felt bad because I like him so much. He's such a cool kid. But he had it out to us by that Monday, so a lot of times when we have these little interruptions during the live broadcast, you don't have to sweat that.
All I kept seeing when I watched it was no sound,
yeah.
no sound.
I get all that
Where'd
constantly.
the sound go?
Constantly. But, we appreciate those of you who hung in there. I know that, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll listen to a podcast. I listen to Ariel Harwani, who does his own UFC podcast, and he now does it at ESPN, and he uses Skype.
Mm-hmm.
Uses Skype, and he has a 5-hour podcast.
5 hours?
Yes, 5-hour podcast, and he'll have maybe 12 guests. Each of them get maybe 20 minutes when you start to do the math. And Skype, although it's nice, because he's got obviously a studio backdrop. It's ESPN, and then these monitors, and everything's professional. Shit, it's ESPN, right? Disney. But whenever he has the guests appear, because it's not coming into the studio. These people could be in Brazil, It could be in Las Vegas. He's out in New York, so he uses Skype, and it is predictably annoying. Skype.
Is it?
It starts off crackly. It starts off with an awkward pause where the host and the guest typically immediately start talking over each other. There's a delay. It'll get muffled, and it's a strain. So I guess I can feel with the folks who have to deal with that sometimes, but it happens. And it's one thing when you have an hour and a half podcast and you have an interruption or two. We have a 5-hour podcast, and every guest that comes on, there's somewhat of a pause or delay. It's like, forget this shit. No matter who they are, it's tough to really hang in there. So for those of you who did hang in there with us, and we had a little bit of interruption last time, thanks. We gave away some cool prizes last week. In fact, I'll give some folks an update because we had a couple of folks asking about things. The way that it works is that when you win a product from F&B or from Small Engine Cams, they send it to you directly. When you win something from Go Power Sports, they were giving away T-shirts and torque converters. When you win those products, essentially, we ask you for your contact information and we send that to them. So if you want anything from some of our sponsors, by all means, I don't mind you texting me, but you can reach out to them independently if you'd like to. Some folks who ask if they can change their camshaft, for example. Some folks wanted to know, instead of a torque converter, can they get maybe a pipe at Go Power Sports? And those are legitimate requests. If you win a T-shirt, what size, all that kind of stuff. So I do my best to answer those, but I thought I'd address it during the podcast just so that you know. All the other stuff, like this hat, Ed, sign this. Do you mind? This hat's going to John Benet Ramsey, which is my name for John Benet. How you doing, John? John has won. He's been pretty good. I think he won something from one of our sponsors as well as this hat. But in the midst of all this stuff, I sometimes lose track. So I got Karen Krause. Karen, your hat is in a box. And John, this will actually go in a box as well and go out tomorrow. Those of you who had recently won the Go Power Sports T-shirt, Jim Savis, congratulations. As soon as I get the T-shirts in, I'll send those directly out to you. Ed, thank you. That's worth like another $6. Let's give him the decal too, huh? Evil Ed decal?
What the hell?
What, did it explode? Oh, it's the double. That's the double one, Ed. It's the pen or the marker. So, John Benet, congratulations. You won this autographed Evil Ed hat. We still have, I think we're down to one hat, Ed.
Really?
I should just give it to you. Yeah.
I have one at home.
Okay, we'll give you the last one too. It'd only be appropriate. We'll have more. You get to pick out colors. I was thinking about colors as we...
Maybe we should just give one away to the best question that I pick out.
Oh, let's do that. I'll get that during the break. You'll autograph that. We'll give away a small engine cam to one comment, and then your favorite question or comment, we'll get an autographed Evil Ed hat, and then we'll chime in with Brian.
You have to tell me how bad you want the hat.
Well, let's give them a chance to do that. Ask them to do the hashtag JMBR.
Right.
And then send in your, I guess, your plea to Ed on why you should get an Evil Ed autograph hat. And we'll have a little fun.
I'll pick out the best one I think is cool.
Now, you can't go give that. Don't be biased just with the girls, Ed. 'Cause I know you're a giver with the ladies. The guys.
Karen's already gotten a hat.
All right. Let's take a quick little, what do you think? Take a little timeout, quick pause for the break here, get a little something to drink. It's not that hot, is it? We're doing all right. I think the fan's off.
It's hot.
It's about 100 degrees still. How you hanging in there, all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Let's do that. We'll take a little break.
I got to take my blood pressure.
Yeah, well, I'll do that for you as well. We'll take a quick little break, Ed, and come back at the half. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead, hashtag them, send them in. You got a little bit of work to do. I'm gonna get a cold beer. I'm down to it. I haven't had any beer for a couple weeks too because of the operation.
Should have stayed off of it.
See you guys in a little bit. It's Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast, hosted by you, Ed, Evil Ed.
Oh, hosted by me, Evil Ed.
All right, see you guys.
I'm
in a
not
bit.
used to this being the podcast guy.
You did good.
I'm only used to being the co-host.
You're doing a good job. Say goodbye and tell me to be back after the break.
We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Is your car stereo a little outdated? Don't sell your car. Upgrade it. Get hands-free calling with Android Auto on the new Pioneer Next.
New from the makers of legendary Brake Clean, the Shop Size Brake Clean Pro Series. The larger Pro Size can has 50% more of the brake clean you've trusted for over 47 years. Also available in 3 non-chlorinated formulas.
Hi, I'm Joe Sebergandio. I've been crazy about mini bikes since I was a really young kid. You know, 50 years comes and goes pretty quick, yet my love and passion for mini bikes hasn't changed a bit. So cruise along with us on some of the coolest rides with some of the most colorful characters in this mini bike sport of ours, and check out some of the rarest collections and visit some of the top builders and some of the wildest bikes right here on Joe's Mini Bike Show.
Joe's Mini Bike Show.
Hey everybody, we're back at Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast, season 3, episode
9, Ed.
Thank you, Joe. You're right again. So we looked over some few questions and over the hat, and there's some pretty good ones there. I'm gonna have to take a take a good look at those questions. I don't know. Gonna be tough. Anyways, we're back.
You know, I was trying to help you out, and I was looking at some of the questions too. Now, I don't know. Do you want somebody to take a knee for you?
I don't.
You know,
that's the.
you're not.
I don't know.
All right, so we're gonna
some hysterical questions,
but I do think we could be sympathetic to male pattern baldness, and there's a guy, Tom Drewicki.
That's Simple Tom, yeah.
He could use the protection.
You think so?
He's always helping us out. He's our mobile audio guy. In fact, I know him less as Tom Drewicki. I know him more as
I don't know how to pronounce his
I
last
know it.
name.
I know him more this way. No audio. That's always Tom's comment. Say no audio. No audio, Joe. No audio. So, I don't know, Ed. Just on the talent he has, being able to draw those cool images.
Cool, yeah, the cool rat fink looking.
But you know, it's you're the host. But you know, it's either that or Chewy taking a knee. So I think he found your winner, huh? But let's do this. Let's give everybody a last call.
Okay.
Want to do that?
Yeah, let's give everyone a last call. Send in your reason you want the hat, and we'll look at the question or the
comment, right? Whatever. They could have a question too.
We'll look at the comments again, and we'll pick a winner toward the end of the show. And I guess we have Solo coming on.
Yes. In fact, we're going to get Brian on the phone, and he'll give away. They have those new custom. Remember, we saw them because we were with them a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
They have those F&B custom T-shirts.
T-shirts, yes.
Give away one of those. He rotates. He gives away a pipe.
And then a shirt.
And a shirt. And then a pipe and then a shirt. So that's cool stuff. Those guys will be out at the upcoming Minibike Reunion while we get Brian on the phone, Solo. Let's give everybody another last call, Ed, to send in their tech questions.
Send in your tech questions to Brian.
Yeah, hashtag it again, JMBR. Send in the tech questions, and Brian will look at them. Brian's
going to look at them.
And then we'll get him on the phone, and he'll pick a winner. One thing that I was hopeful that I made clear, and I wasn't. I had made a note several podcasts, and I had sent out a couple email replies separately. But we do the podcast, a couple times a month? So, and we really just do it 6 months or 8 months out of the year as we build up to the show. Because we're really not a real podcast, right? We're more of like an event house organ. But as
we don't do a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah, we're not doing a 5-hour podcast. Even an hour and change is a little much for some. But we do want to continue to make it fun. We can't keep giving away products to the same people. So if you've won, like a camshaft, or if you've won a T-shirt,
or if you have a hat already, Justin Eichler.
Yeah, he's looking for anything he can get. Yeah, so if you've won something in the last, I don't know. Here's the deal: you're gonna get a chance to win something once a year. So if you've won something already, really just don't send in questions, because we may answer them, but it's tough to give away the same stuff. It's not fair to everybody. We want other folks to come in.
We don't want hoarders of the Joe's Minibike Reunion products.
Well, you mentioned it happened on another podcast, right? You know, your buddy's deal, and it's just one of those things where we just want to spread the love. So with that said, we'll give a last call to the tech questions as well. The break was tempting. It was tempting to just go jump in the pool. It's been 105, 108, 110, and part of this recovery is you can't go in water. So when I take a shower, I've got to do the bandages and the saran wrap.
Saran wrap it.
Yep. So I'm anxious
in the butt,
but it's not as bad now. It's a beautiful night actually now in Southern California. When it gets dark out, dude, there's no better place to be. How is it? Is it still Africa hot though where you are? Like at night, is it still 105?
Well, it's my house. It's built in 29, and there's no insulation, so when it gets hot, it stays hot.
Yeah. There's
no air conditioning, no swamp cooler. All I have is a few fans.
20 mini bikes.
Yeah, 20. A few fans blowing. The front of the house is cool. It stays pretty cool because the sun hits that in the morning.
I've been in the front of your house. I've been in the. I walked through the back, middle room, front room. I've been in. You had a bike on a stand, like where most people would have a dining table. Would that be like the middle room? And it was hot when I was there. But then I don't know if one bedroom was a spray booth. You had a lot going on there my first and only time there at Evil Ed's. In fact, you know what would be great?
I have a mini bike in every room except the bathroom.
Well, let's do
Maybe
this.
A couple mini bikes in a room.
Let's do this. Let's do an episode at your place. Let's do a little Evil Ed tour. We'll give you a chance to blow it out and rake it out and do whatever we do. We'll call those maids, those topless maids. We'll have them clean up the place before we go over a little bit. Just so you know, you can hide all the good stuff. You don't want people to see all the good stuff you got hanging out there. And we'll do an episode over at Evil Ed.
Once in a while, someone will come over and I'll drag something out that I know they're interested in. Where'd you get that? I had it stashed in the back. And
we've got to reenact that race around your house.
Oh, that's on YouTube.
How would they find it?
Evil Ed's Bonanza Brigade, I think it was.
Evil Ed's
Edwin posted it.
All right. So if Edwin Murto has posted something on YouTube, is Evil Ed's what?
I think it's Evil Ed's Ride or something like that.
Yeah, and that was with you and the Bargain
Evil
Hunters.
Ed's Ride at the house.
With the bald dude. What was his name?
No, we had another one posted. That was
another one.
Auction Hunters.
Auction Hunters, okay.
There's another one. Like a 15-minute one. Well, when we had a bunch of people over and we were riding around the yard.
Get that to Emmanuel so we can clip it up and stick that into a couple of our planned upcoming Joe's Minibike reunions. We talked about the show, Ed, and I sent you the first blush yesterday.
Yes.
What'd you think?
It was pretty good.
Okay, so
I didn't know I was that good looking.
Handsome bastard.
Oh, man.
And when you comb your beard, dude, you're like Tom Cruise, but wait a minute, he's gay. Anyways, you're a good looking guy. You're a pretty smart fella too. Anyways. So yeah, you're looking good on the show. We had to make a few edits. I hate listening and watching myself. I don't know about you. Did you go through that too? Or do you love yourself? All right, stupid question, huh? Well, I
love myself. I like doing podcasts. I don't like being the host. I like being the Ed McMahon.
Well, you look, Ed, as you grow into your role, I thought you were a natural. That's what I was going to get at.
I'm old. I'm 62 years old.
That's got nothing to do with how you come across on the show. So I'm giving you a vote of confidence. I'm telling you that from what I saw, I've got some room for improvement. You're a little bit more natural at it. We got to find our little pace, you know? you know, and we've got one in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
We have one in the bag, and
It
although
looked
I
pretty
know
good. I kind of liked it.
It was short, right?
Yeah, it was short. It was.
we kind of went around a
went
little bit.
around the garage looking at bikes.
I don't know about you, but it was pretty embarrassing trying to put that big plastic fairing on the front of that Ruttman. It's like those guys probably think we're on crack. I'll let you all know that we changed that. In fact, let me just show you. This is not.
It's not going on.
Not going on a mini bike. Despite the fact that the seat is so high, this is not going out. We have something that is flip up and going to be really cool. And as dumb as we were in that episode looking at this and trying to make it seem as if it was going to work, it's not going to work. And I guess that's what I like.
Well, when you build a bike like that, you got to try stuff, you know?
Well, yeah, and it was nice.
I mean, they don't make a little fairing like that for a mini bike. So.
Yeah, you would have to. Well, they do. They're for these mini motos, and they're almost race style. And we could have gone that way. This was how it is with many of the bike builds at the beginning. You start to reach ideas,
yeah,
and then when the stuff comes in, it's real. It's real clear whether or not it's a go. And this one actually worked us a little bit. Let's give a few shout outs.
I like the O'Reilly bike we did. That came out nice.
Now, I did too. A couple things on that, however. It's back with our friends over at Fiberlock. And I don't know if they're going to send it back to us to do a little cleanup and maybe a reboot, but that's back. Maybe going to be back in our garage. You know what we're not going to do? Well, actually we are. Well, depending on what theme we would take with it. Those tire stickers, like I like tirestickers.com, but we learned a lot because we kept them out before we put them on. So that was the thing. That was what I learned from talking to the guy. And that was the first thing he said to me. I told him, I said, dude, I really love the look, but what a pain it was to take off those letters off the stencils before applying them. And the first thing he asked me is like, how long did you have them outside of the package that we sent you? It's like, well, I opened them up and I got them immediately because I wanted to look at them, and then I had them in my garage for maybe like a month or two. It's like, nice. That's you got to put them on. I said, well, lesson learned. We're still able to make them work. Note to self, and anybody else who uses tirestickers.com, you have to use that stuff quick. But I remember you and I like pulling hair out of the few hairs that we had left trying to put that on. And then when I got the photo of the bike being back, none of the stickers were on the tires.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I bet.
They peeled them off?
Yeah, or they came off, right? So you never know. So depending on how that looks. So I like that bike too. We'll see. You know, we could go from famine to feast or from feast to famine. Right now I've got one bike to worry about, which is that giveaway bike.
The Pioneer bike?
Yeah, the Pioneer bike, and we'll see what's happening there. The new Honda Z50s launch the end of this year. If you're a Honda aficionado, check out the Honda website. They're offering a new monkey bike, which is a 125cc. It's very similar. In fact, I think it's the same engine that's in my Grom. But it's got all the old school look as an old...
Really?
Yeah, Z50 Honda. They're street legal.
I don't follow Hondas too much, so...
Well, you only directly do when you see some of these bike builds where guys are using Honda, especially those big blocks. You know, Charles is a Honda guy for the most part, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Likes to build those. Yeah, for the recreational guys, I bought a Honda one time, but I bought the wrong one. You know, I bought some GL X200 or 250. It was no one had anything for it. It was the wrong one. I've had two Hondas engines. Never did anything but buy them and hop them up. I never put them in a bike. Did you? You ever had a Honda in your bike?
Not a real Honda, no.
Well, they're popular at the show. Not only are the bikes popular, but many of the bikes that are modified have Hondas, and many of the engines that are for sale at the swap meet are Hondas. So one way, shape, or form. The new Hondas are out, and they have a new Honda Cub. All of them are available if you go to the Honda USA motorcycle site. You can check them out there. There's a new, I think it's called a Rascal, which is also masquerading as a Benelli. That's a little bit bigger. I don't know if it's a 135 or a 150cc, like the competitor of the Groms. Those are coming out. The big thing that's going to happen with those mini motos is when that 125 power plant from the Grom goes up, to a 150 at least. And that's when those bikes will go from
50. Those that one you could ride legally on the freeway.
You can ride these. You can ride these 125s too.
On the freeway?
Yeah,
I
they're
thought
street
it was
legal.
150cc.
Yeah, I've ridden on the freeway, and it may be 150. I didn't get bothered though.
Yeah, I think it's 150cc.
Yeah, yep. So I probably illegally was riding, but it's plated, so I got by, and it'll go 60, 65 tuck downhill. None of these guys have a modified. Will go 80, but my bike's not like that. So let's do this. Why don't we before we get into some shout-outs, why don't we get Solo on the phone and see if he's got any winners?
Let's get Solo on the phone.
And then we need to find a winner of the small engine cam as well. Ed?
See what's going on with Solo here.
All right. And we'll find out from Solo is Brian from F&B Racing.
F&B Racing.
Let's see if we can dial Brian up. You know, I was thinking about doing is selling Iski's direct line. You know, we'll charge people a ton of money so they can get a hold of them.
I have it, but I'm not selling it.
All right, here we go.
I love Tim.
Tim's helping us out. In fact, Brian recently sent me a shopping list of all the hop-up goodies we're going to use for the Predator build. On the Pioneer giveaway bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, we're here with Solo. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Brian, I'm here with Evil Ed.
What's up, Brian?
Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
All right.
Ed's wondering if... Oh, got it. Ed's wondering how you like his host cameo appearance tonight, Solo. How's he doing?
Oh, man, I wouldn't expect anything less from the man. You know, he's a talented individual, you know.
A natural, wouldn't you say, Brian?
Man, that's for sure.
Hey, you were out...
One of a kind.
I told him he's a pretty fart smeller. Smart feller.
Yeah, he is.
Brian, you were out at the AV getting in a little bit of under the radar run recently, it looks like, with you and Jake and a couple of the guys.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't miss that ride. It's one of the best there is.
How hot was it out there?
Shit, too hot.
Yeah, I thought it was. When I saw you posted you were there, I'm like, man, it was hot in the valley. I know it's got to be hot out there.
You know, I think it was probably upper 90s about by even before 11, but you don't even notice it, man. When you're out there riding with the guys, you don't notice that shit.
Yeah, probably.
Brian, was that a private little ride? It seemed like a small little gathering.
No, he actually, Jake advertised that one. I mean, he put it on his, I don't know if that's his Instagram page or not, but a couple of people knew about it. A few guys from LA even showed up, which was pretty cool.
Who was there, Brian?
A guy named J-Rock.
He was at
one of
the
his
swap
buddies,
meet. Yeah, J-Rod, yeah.
The guy with the twin-engine bike that was in that last tournament, I forget his name.
Yes. Yeah, I remember those guys. How many guys did you have in total? About 12 guys, 8 guys?
I would say around 10, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little group.
Wasn't too big, but I tell you what, man, it was nonstop. I went through a full tank of gas just there, you know.
I've never burned a tank. Yeah, you rode good burning a tank. I think I never got close to burning a tank, and we've been out there riding. Well, good for you. It sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's been a while since I was able to get out and let the wheels spin like that. It's always short little bursts, you know.
You had the orange bike with you, didn't you?
No, I wish. That's my show bike now. I mean, it has been on river runs and whatnot, but I kind of converted that over to my full show bike now.
What did you bring out to the AV?
My doodle book, the stretch doodle book one.
What's that got in it, Brian?
I actually put together a nice 212 motor for that one. One of our custom heads is on that one, our tunnel port head. It's a small valve setup. It runs really good. I mean, there's 70 with me on it, so it scoots.
That's pretty good.
70s. Are you kidding me? It's like you're
Brian's a big boy.
Riding on air, 70 on that little bike. Hey, Brian, we had a couple of tech questions. Thank you again for the Going Solo portion of the show. As you and I had talked about before, I think a lot of folks could enjoy the benefit of your expertise and experience. So I appreciate the time that you're taking, especially in light of the fact that you're in the midst of what appears to be 100. Where you are was like 110 today, wasn't it?
You know, I think it showed 114 here. I work in Rancho Cucamonga. It was burning up over here.
Literally, wasn't it? Isn't it? In Idlewild, you got something going on there with the fires.
Big fires out there. I just read that. I'm going to check the news after we hang up. I know some people out that way.
Well, be safe. It was just beginning, unfortunately, when we started the podcast, so it takes a little while before those things get under control. Yeah, I was looking at some of the opportunities here, and this was a natural fit, this going solo. Did you get a chance to take a peek at some of the questions there to find any that caught your attention?
You know, I read a few. I came across one that caught my interest from Randy Blue. I've never met the guy, but it's a pretty cool question here. It says, everyone is switching, what do you say? Everyone is switching brakes and checks to clone motors. I wasn't sure if that was a question or not, but I sort of took it as one, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit.
What is your feeling about that switch? I mean, it's not as if it's universal, but you do start to see some of those applications when you're out there.
It's true. It's true. I think all in all, the overhead valve. We talked about this on the last podcast. Well, shit, we couldn't get through with all those technical issues you had last show, but the Predator motors are just they're hard to beat, you know, and it's definitely a better design than the flatheads are, and the reliability's better. It's just, I mean, unless you're going all out with a vintage restoration, it's almost dumb not to go with a Predator nowadays, you know.
Well, when you talk about power plants, it's exactly that, right? They're all air boxes. What you want is something that you can get the most power out of, even sometimes at the risk of having to replace parts or rebuild engines, but you do want some dependability. And I think once Hey, Brian?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you eating a Slurpee?
I wish. No.
There was just a little, I don't know if it was on our end or your end. There was like a as if you're going through a car wash. Maybe it was our end, Brian. I think because of the fact that a lot of what were traditionally phrased as clone motors, you know, 10 years ago, that had a different connotation, and they really were they were worth what you paid for them. They've come along so well, and the quality, as well as the warranty, which is pretty much stick it back in the box and send it back. It's, to your point, it's almost senseless not to use those engines. We're big fans of the traditional, we'll call them domestic small engines, whether it's a Briggs and Stratton,
Briggs,
right?
Clinton.
You're a big Briggs guy, Clinton guy. You look around. That's all you see here. But also, we've got our Predators, and yeah, I think that there's, Brian, maybe using the Pioneer bike that you're currently working on as an example. I know that Frank's focusing in on the design and the overall build, and you're working on the power plant. But that was a good example of a traditional bike, a Ruttman, made in the U.S. of A. and Detroit, the Motor City. Yet, based on what we were doing with that bike, and we were customizing it and stretching it, it really didn't make much sense for us to use the 5 horsepower Tecumseh that came with it, because not only was it not going to be a custom bike, but it wasn't really that engine for the bike. We needed something different. So sometimes not only the type of bike that you're building, but really what you're going for performance-wise, it excludes the traditional Briggs and the traditional Tecumsehs and Clintons.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ed even touched on that a little bit the day we were out at the shop, and he agreed. Isn't that right, Ed? Ed touched on that.
Oh, yeah, right.
He said it's not that it didn't deserve a vintage motor, but a Predator belongs in there, and we got a good one coming to that bike.
Hey, kudos on that bug. Was it a bug or a flea? That little blue job that your brother finished up. Was that a bug that was at the shop, Brian, when we came by to see you guys?
It was. What a nice piece, huh?
Wow.
That's strange.
Wasn't that gentleman, that guy, didn't he have a nice collection?
He does. Man, he has an awesome collection. You know, my brother's been working with that guy for a while, and he's been out to almost every one of your shows, and actually he's placed several times, I believe.
Make a point to introduce me to him, Brian. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you just miss out on opportunities to meet some really cool people and a lot of cool bikes. We were joking about that, how often Ed and I don't even get a chance to really see all the cool bikes and people that are at the show, you know?
Yeah, you guys definitely are overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Shit, that's a big show. It's just growing and growing. It's getting crazy now, Joe.
Yeah, it is.
Well, unfortunately, I understand that the wedding that you guys have upcoming is the same day. So although we're going to miss you guys, obviously, personally, if we have the chance to see Chris and some of the other F&B family on site, we'll look forward to that. It's inevitable, Brian, when you start to do events that you're going to step on someone's event. I know that Pomona's upcoming, and there's another, I don't know if it's Long Beach, but it's unfortunate we can't see you from what I understand of late, but we'll be talking to you on the podcast leading up to it, and you'll be there in spirit.
You know, Joe, we're going to be out of town mid-August, not October.
Oh,
so you're going to be at the show.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm showing my orange bike.
Okay.
Well, great. That's great news. When your brother sent me a text today, he says, "Tell me it's not the 13th." And I said, "Sorry." I assumed he was talking about October. If he was talking about August, then that's great. Yeah, we'll let him know that it's October the 13th. And maybe there's not a problem at all then as a result.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, his deal's in August the 19th, I believe. So
otherwise, he's planning a wedding he's not telling you about, Solo.
No, I hope not. I'm the best man.
Hey, look. So with that said, then Randy's question about clones versus like some of the traditional engines. I guess we're all on the same page there, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I'm all for those flatheads and the two-strokes too. My brother's been doing a lot of those in his restorations, and but for me, being a motor guy, I can't stress enough how reliable they are. Like you said, I mean, even 10 years ago, the GX200s were really the power plant to go with as far as reliability for mini bikes, anyways, in my opinion. And then it just grew from there, and there were so many good clones that followed up the GX200, and then the Predators came along, and it's just, I mean, shit, how do you beat that? How do you beat $100 and a warranty like that? You just can't beat it.
Hey, Brian, you briefly touched on the Hemi engine that we secured through F&B to be modified for the lucky winner of the Pioneer bike. I got a list of parts, and I passed them on to Tim over at Small Engine Cam, so we're in the system, quote unquote.
Perfect.
Quickly, as we conclude this little segment here, give folks an idea of a laundry list of what you're planning on doing and some of the parts that we're securing for that bike.
Well, with that build, what we're doing is basically a stage 1 kit that we offer, and it starts off like we spoke about that day with a billet rod and a flywheel. We're going to put one of Tim's Black Mamba cams in it, and I'm going to do some mild head work on it with a 27mm carb, an air filter, obviously one of our headers, and I project that motor to make maybe 12, 13 horsepower on pump gas, so it's going to be a little ripping motor for sure.
That's enough horsepower for that bike.
Sure. Ed always gives me that look when he's excited about the giveaway products, and he'd like to maybe see if there's a way he could win. Like, he gets excited about the T-shirts that we give away. Let's see if we could. So, hey, Brian, talking about T-shirts, those new F&B T-shirts, we've got, hold one for Randy. We'll find out his size, Ed. Ed, you know Randy. What's his name online?
Gumpit.
Gumpit?
He's Gumpit on OMB, and I think he's going to be a 3 or 4X.
Oh, well, Brian, do you go that deep? You 3 or 4X?
Actually, we have a limited supply on that. We have large and we have extra large and double X.
So
those are the sizes we have in blue and black.
Randy's kind of a big guy.
Well, Randy, you're going to have to get a double X and use that as an incentive, or find something else to use it for. I was in that same situation, Brian, with Joe's Minibike Reunion. When I first rolled out, I didn't have the triple X and the 4X, and then I bought more of them than I would ever sell. It seems like you could never win with those extra large sizes. There's a company.
Yeah, XL and double X are most common, so that's what we stick with.
So maybe
But,
maybe a clone validation and a sit-up recommendation for Randy, in addition to a big congratulations for winning the prize tonight, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well,
That's funny.
Solo, thanks for taking some time. I'm on the mend. Ed's kind of getting the fever. We'll wait for some of this weather to die down. We'll wait for our shoulders to recover. We'll be talking to you soon. And thanks for the time and hosting us recently when we came up there to shoot the Joe's Minibike Reunion show. We're putting together some of the rough footage, and when we've got that edited down, we'll give you a chance to take a peek what we came up with.
Oh, yeah, we had some rough moments, but we got through it.
I told you my story, remember?
Yeah, you did.
Don't worry about it,
Yeah.
Brian.
It's
Don't
all in good
worry
fun.
about it.
Plus,
Yeah, I know, Ed. That was the rough, the beginning of the rough road, right?
Yeah, you're. Don't worry about it.
hey, Brian, it was all on tape, so we'll break it out after a few beers about 10 years from now.
We'll laugh about it. Hey, listen, thanks, guys, for having me on. I appreciate it, and congratulations to Randy, and you guys take care.
All right, Brian, we'll have you on the next podcast, and we'll give away a new F&B Stage 1 pipe. That's Brian from F&B going solo.
All right. Well, let's see what we got next on the.
All right, Ed, so you gave away...
What about some shout-outs? You got shout-outs?
You go first.
I want to hear you go without a paper.
Oh, well, here's what I would do. You have to take the automatic. So in my case, it's like you got to go to the family. So I want to give a shout-out to Gail and Miranda, who may be listening tonight. My wife, Linda, she's in there watching, beating the heat. She's smart. And Nikole, because Nicole's been traveling, the daughter. She's in the middle of a break from college, so she was up and down the West Coast. She went to Portland. They were in Monterey. They were at waterfalls. They were at hot springs. She just got back from Las Vegas, so she's been out there.
Busy
I haven't seen her
girl.
much, so we'll give her a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Jim Marino. Congratulations, Jim, for I guess the fun that comes with the sadness that
Selling
comes
your
with
mini bikes.
Yeah, you sell a collection, and usually it's for something else. Jim doesn't fool around. He is a collector extraordinaire, and I will circle back to you, if I could, on that little 69 Z50, because that is a gem. I'd like to give a shout out to some of our new, what are they, friends on the Facebook page, you guys who've recently joined us. And I'd like to give a shout out to you, Ed. Congratulations on a good job hosted.
Oh, okay. I'd give a shout out to Karen Krause. Give a shout out to Chad White Knight. Give a shout out to Myron Bailey, Scott Stebbins, Justin Eichler. Who else we got? We got Guardrail Dave, Edwin Murdo.
You think there's going to be a chance we can get Guardrail Dave on?
Yeah, he was gonna. Well, he wants to come on, but he was in Hawaii.
All right, so you're going to work on that.
I'm gonna work on getting Edwin and Dave at the same time.
Okay.
Because then we have a lot more to talk about. We were all, good friends, and we just went our own ways, but we still are friends,
Well, sure,
Yeah.
Ed. I have.
So
It's called a little pause for the cause.
yeah, and then give a shout out to all the guys in Florida, the racing in Florida guys,
Yeah, I met up with some guys over. We talked about
the guys in Texas.
Buffalo. The Western New York Buffalo guys recently on the last podcast. I met some guys from New Orleans recently. It's just happening. Everybody is popping out.
I know every time I turn on Facebook, I got a freaking friend request from this guy. Friend request.
There was a guy.
It's like, why? I can't keep up
I'm
here.
trying to find it now. Oh,
Cliff Judd.
No, Cliff from American Spirit.
Oh,
Minibikes.
okay, yeah.
I've just been in touch with him a little bit, and he announced a drag frame.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just another example of the hobby just starting to go. I'd like to say I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to get Eric from Studs on the phone. It's probably too late. by the time we got him. You know, guys working on an
Time is it
event.
now?
Well, it was
It's
11
probably
o'clock, I
midnight
think.
now out
About
there.
11 o'clock when I was
Yeah.
trying to get a hold of him. So with all that said, we have to pick a winner for the small engine cam. And I'll tell you what, let's do this. The heat's starting to have an effect here. Why don't we take a look at some of the photos, some of the comments, and give these guys one final last call. Send in a comment, send in a question, and we'll pick the winner a little bit after the show, and we'll announce it on the Facebook page tomorrow for the small engine cam. What do you say?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do that? Is there any,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at so many of the questions, Ed, and there's too many. So we'll both take a look at it, you and I.
We got to give the hat away.
This one's going to John Benet. So here's your hat. Congratulations. Thanks for the patience.
We got to
And
give
then
the other.
Tom Jawicki is the winner of the Evil Lead hat
Simple
as well.
Tom. Simple Tom.
Was it Randy Blue?
Randy Blue.
Randy Blue is the winner
Of
of the
the
F&D t-shirt. And we'll announce the winner of the small engine cam tomorrow morning on Facebook Live. Now, E, you're working on the final edits for our first episode for Joe's Mini Bike Show. Maybe we'll have a chance if we can.
We had some questions about how much is it going to cost to register at the Joe's Mini Bike Reunion?
That's a good question, Ed, and thank you for bringing that up. It's $20.
$20?
You know, it's really $15.
15?
Because you can go to Campbell Automotive, which is a local automotive shop right out Honolulu near the event in Montrose, California. Save $5.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and we're thinking about having our partners over at the scleroderma.org come in and through charitable donations provide the food and beverage. We've been taking
Get rid
to
of those
task.
trucks.
I want the girl to come back in the morning with those cool donuts, the bacon sprinkled specialty donuts. She's coming back. You'd love her. You kidding me? We'd marry her if we weren't already. And she was so nice. She had a cool little truck. I'd love for her to come back. But I'm talking about that stuff beyond the coffee and the donuts. Maybe some. We'll let E figure it out. Whether it's hot dogs or hamburgers, something where you can get a little something to eat there on site without too much of a hassle. Some cold drinks, and we'll work towards using a big portion of that to dedicate towards that worthwhile cause, the scleroderma cause. E's been working heavy and hard at that. Just got back from, was it San Diego, E?
San Diego.
What was that? That was a big event for you. Was that a pretty big turnout?
Yeah, so our last walk, we had about 300 people and made $30,000.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So how does that put you on your target, E? Are you getting close to what you guys targeted for? Yeah, getting close? Yeah. And if folks want to get involved, where can they send maybe a check or find out a little bit more information? sclerosocal.org. All right, everybody. Evil Ed, what'd you think, man?
Yeah, I think I had a good time.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know yet until I watch it.
Well, look, we've been doing this now. I think we have done 40 of these things. Every one I look at, I wish I did things or said things differently. That's part of it. But it's only a podcast, right?
It's only a podcast.
What are you thinking for a next podcast, E? You got your schedule in mind, or you want to wait a little while and we'll check things out? While he's looking at his calendar, we'll try to get... Our plan typically is to do 2 a month. And as we get closer to the show, which is October the 13th, Joe's Mini Bike Reunion show, here at beautiful La Crescenta at CV Park.
Yep, that's going to be October 13th.
Yes, did you write that in your calendar yet?
Yeah,
I had to make sure
got it written down
he put it in his calendar.
Or you can go to joesminibike.com and get it on the website or the Facebook page.
joesminibikereunion.com, Facebook page, Instagram page. August the 8th? Write that down, Ed.
August 8th.
Our next targeted August the 8th. And we'll work towards maybe getting Guardrail Dave in here. If not, I was supposed to...
Edwin.
And Edwin. Great. So we got a couple good opportunities for guests here. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you haven't had a chance to tell a friend, go ahead and do that. Ed, part of the host deal is you have to do like the sign off and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm glad all you guys watched tonight. And wish you guys stay cool in California here and everywhere else that's hot. I know I'm sweating to death right now. And we'll see you guys in August 8th on the podcast.
August the 8th, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here, Joe's Mini Bike Reunion Facebook page with
That's it.
Me and you.
August 8th.
August the 8th, we'll
7
change the date.
p.m.
August 8th, 7 p.m. All right, everybody.
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific time. Hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler, Ed.
All right, yeah, I hope it is going to be cooler. It's funny the way the weather works. I think last year was hot early, And then later on, like in September, it kind of cooled off a little bit,
August
where
was
it's
real
usually
hot.
hotter, you know?
Yeah, it got hotter earlier.
Yeah.
This time.
I'm hoping that's going to happen this year, too.
You're still the coolest guy in Southern California, Ed. All right, buddy. Thanks for
All
listening.
right. See you guys. Have fun.
Next time.
Joe's Minibike Show.